All right, today we are going to talk about incomplete dominance. You'll need your notes packet. In class, I showed the students a little page that had a regular dominant recessive problem and then an incomplete dominance problem, and they compared the differences. We're going to go through a few of the differences here. In regular dominant and recessive, the capital letter represents the dominant trait, lowercase letter represents the recessive trait. As long as they have at least one capital letter, they're going to have the dominant trait. So in this case, both big R, and big R, little r are red. In incomplete dominance, you'll notice we use two different letters. We're going to talk about why in a minute. But instead of just having two phenotypes or two colors at the end, we have three. So instead of just red and white, we've got red, pink, and white. So in our little chart here, we're going to write a few things about incomplete dominance before we go to a practice problem. In incomplete dominance, what we end up getting is that neither gene is actually dominant over the other. Sometimes we'll say they're kind of both dominant, but the reality is they're neither one is dominant over the other, and they end up blending. So two genes blend, neither one is dominant over the other. We're going to go ahead and write our genotypes and phenotypes. You'll notice I picked the same ones, red, pink, or red and white, as we did in our regular dominant recessive problem in our chart that was just up a few spots. And the reason I did that is so you could see the difference here. Now remember, you can use any letter. You don't have to use R for red or W for white. But the biggest mistake I see kids making is they want a different letter for each color. There's only two genes here, so there's only two different letters, and then the blended one in the middle is going to have both of the letters. So what are some examples? Curly hair and straight hair. Somebody, if they have a kid together, might have somebody with wavy hair. So wavy hair is like the blend of the two traits. Eggplant. We see this a lot in coloring in fruits and vegetables and flowers. So we've got a purple and a white, and then the blend is a light purple. Here with horses, like a cream horse and a red horse might make something that's kind of in between the two, a golden horse. So we're going to do an example here. So flip to your examples, your sample problems in your packet. When you're doing these problems, it will either say something like they're incompletely dominant, or it's going to say that they will blend, or it's going to give you three different colors. So that's how you know. In this problem, if we didn't have this first sentence, it says when a brown and white horse cross, a tan horse results. Because we have three different colors here, brown, white, and tan, I know that it is incompletely dominant because otherwise it would just be two different colors. So it says cross, which means mate a tan horse with a white horse. So again, we're going to go through all the 7 steps. In the first step, normally we would say dominant and recessive. Here, we're just going to write that the two traits are dominant, and then we're going to write that one of them is a blend of the two. Again, technically we said neither one is dominant, but we're just going to do this. So brown and white we're going to say are dominant, and then they blend together to make tan. Next, we need to assign letters. So you're going to assign letters to the two extreme colors of the trait, not to the blended one, but only to the dominant one. So I'm going to use B for brown, W for white. Again, we use two capital letters to show that neither one is like recessive. And then tan gets 2 letters. Sometimes kids like to write brown as 2 big B's and white as 2 little W's. You can theoretically do that, but typically if you're following the pattern of all of our previous examples, we've assigned 1 letter to each of the gene colors, and then the only difference here is that blended one has to have 2 letters. When we do the parents, each parent needs 2 letters, so we have tan, that's going to be BW, and white, WW. We're going to still do our Punnett square, our sperm and egg the same way, so we're going to put BW, WW, fill it in. And you'll notice here we have 50%. Oh, this is incorrect. We do not have 50% brown. Do not write that down. Brown would be two big B's. Tan, we end up having 50% because BW is tan. And then we should have 50% white. So my numbers are off here. Again, you should have 0, 50, 50. I just did not fix those. All right, so in class we did a group problem and then we are doing the worksheet. So I will assign you the worksheet.